All right, since nobody else wants to do this, I guess I have to do it. I'm a little bit pissed off about this. Now, I remember when Arturo Gatti was inducted into the Hall of Fame, people debated whether he belonged in the Hall of Fame or not. And the debates that were in the comment section or video response, wherever the debates were basically based around the resume of Arturo Gatti. They were saying, is he really a Hall of Famer based off of his resume because he lost to this guy, that guy, that guy? That's what the whole debates were about, right? But some of the same people were sitting in front of their couch screaming, blood and guts, warrior. We want to see the blood and the guts. Go, Gotti, go. And that was all fine when he got his head bust in for your entertainment and your enjoyment. But when they said, you know what? We love this motherfucker so much. You guys have always turned up to watch him fight. He's given us good ratings. You guys have always demanded to see him. He was involved in a classic trilogy with Mickey Ward that we all remember, that's timeless. You know what we're going to do for y'all? We're going to throw this man in the Hall of Fame because we feel like he deserves to be there. And what did y'all go and do? Are you kidding me, Gotti? He doesn't deserve to be there. He lost to this guy and that guy and that guy. But I can even top that. I remember when Mike Tyson, Iron Mike, Kid Dynamite, when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, some of you goofballs had the audacity to debate whether that man was a Hall of Famer or not. Even though Mike Tyson is easily one of the top 3 most popular heavyweights in the history of the sport, if not one of the top 3 most popular fighters, period. When I was growing up, man, those were the 2 guys right there, man, Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson. And that's when I was growing up. But there's kids that were born after Mike Tyson retired who know who the fuck he is. Do you know who Mike Tyson is? Like, do you know the amount of fans and attention that he brought to the sport? Most people feel, because of Mike Tyson, people feel like the heavyweight division ain't been the same really since he left. I mean, yeah, you had Lennox Lewis, but to me, Lennox Lewis was boring to me. You know, I give him all credit. I'm not saying that he was a shitty fighter or anything like that. It's just he bored me sometimes. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And he wasn't going to put asses in chairs and shit. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't that type of fighter. Plus, you know, he was a British fighter. People over here really didn't like him that much. I didn't dislike him. I liked him, but he just put me to sleep sometimes. But Mike Tyson did that, man. He made the heavyweight division so exciting that to this day, we still haven't looked at it the same since he's been gone. Fuck you mean does he belong in the Hall of Fame? Like, I didn't understand that. You know, but where is the uproar about one of the most overhyped bums in the history of this sport, Joe Calzaghe, getting inducted into the Hall of Fame with the likes of Oscar De La Hoya and Tito Trinidad? Joe Calzaghe is not a Hall of Famer to me, man. He's just not, okay? You look at his resume. I want everybody to pull his resume up on BoxRec before you attack me, okay? Pull up his fucking record on BoxRec. And don't forget to plug your nose first because his shit stinks. You look at his resume, you're like, man, where in the fuck is everybody at? You look at the years, him and Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones were around. You look at the activity that the 3 of them were doing at the same time. And you're like, what the fuck was Joe Calzaghe doing? This motherfucker hid out in Wales his whole career, man. Not even just the UK. That would have been bad enough. This motherfucker hid out in Wales. They had this motherfucker nailed down over there, okay? They were holding him hostage. He was acting like he couldn't get a passport or nothing. He didn't know who Bernard Hopkins was then. He wasn't acting like he knew who B-Hop was. He wasn't acting like he knew who Roy Jones was. He could have fought them years ago. This motherfucker was a champion since 1997, okay? And when he won the vacant title from Eubank, he went on a cherry-picking spree. This guy was the king of fucking cherry-picking, man. People say Floyd Mayweather. People talk about Floyd. This motherfucker, Joe Calzaghe, was king cherry pick, man. He went on a cherry picking spree, and he fought a guy named Rick Thornberry, who threw all but 3 punches around in their fight. Okay, he was a bum who had already been knocked out twice, and 3 fights before he fought Joe Calzaghe, This is what qualified him to get a title shot against Joe. He fought a guy who was 1-0, a guy who had 18 wins, 25 losses, and 5 draws. Then he fought a guy who had 5 wins, 26 fucking losses, and 1 damn draw. And disqualified him for a title shot against Joe Calzaghe. And this is the type of competition that Joe Calzaghe was fighting when at the same time, B-Hop was over here beating Glenn Johnson for the first time. He was the middleweight champion. He went on to fight Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Jermaine Taylor twice, in which he won one of those fights. The first fight, I believe he won. The second one, I feel like he lost that fight. But the first one, I think he won. I think he was robbed. I don't think that they wanted to. I think they were tired of B-Hop. So they say, we got a young, fresh dude right here. Let's go ahead and get B-Hop on out of here. And little did they know that this motherfucker would still be here today. But he fought Antonio Tarver, Winky Wright, Kelly Pavlik. None of these guys are on Joe Calzaghe's resume. They were only one division away from each other. I'm quite sure if Joe Calzaghe wanted to fight these guys, they would have made something happen. Okay, he was fighting in arenas over there. There's no way that they wouldn't have fought Joe Calzaghe way back then. What's a Hall of Famer about this dude? Because he retired undefeated, that's it. So if Joe Calzaghe had, let's say he had 3 or 4 losses on his resume, would you still consider him to be a Hall of Famer? Was he that good? Because to me, the only thing that really amazed me about Joe Calzaghe, because he did entertain me from time to time. And what entertained me and what was so amazing to me is how he was able to make his opponents lay on the ropes as he proceeds to slap them everywhere. I mean, he was the slap box fucking champion. I don't know how the fuck he got away with that shit for so long. And that was the only thing that amazed me about Joe Calzaghe. Okay. And the sad thing about him being a Hall of Famer is that the highlight of Joe Calzaghe's career is not Bernard Hopkins. It's not Roy Jones, because we never really took those fights seriously anyway, even though he lost to B-Hop. We never really did take those fights seriously because we knew that he cherry-picked them when they were past their prime. They were still legends past their prime, though. Could have fought him a long time ago. The highlight of this man's career is beating Jeff fucking Lacey, in which he didn't even come over here to do. He made Jeff Lacey go over there to Wales. And Jeff Lacey went on to do absolutely nothing with his career after he ran into Joe. And he really didn't do much before. To me, he was a champion, but he was still a prospect to me, man. He didn't beat anybody yet. Nobody was saying that Jeff Lacey was going to beat everybody. And that's the highlight of his career. Then he went and got dropped in the first round to the worst version of Roy Jones we had seen at that point. Okay, and then he ducked a rematch in front of everybody with Bernard Hopkins, a fight that he got his ass whipped in. Bernard didn't let him get away with that slap box shit. He was countering him. He exposed him, and he got robbed. And when, I believe it was after a Bernard Hopkins fight, Bernard Hopkins called Joe Calzaghe out. Joe Calzaghe happened to be there. I don't know why. And he said, look, I'll go over to Wales to fight you in a rematch. I'll go to your backyard. You want to know what Joe Calzaghe said? The Hall of Famer, Joe Calzaghe, said, oh, I don't do rematches. Really? And this is a Hall of Famer. Get this dude out of here, man. I mean, this is just my opinion. You guys leave your comments at the bottom and let me know what y'all think about this. But I'm feeling a certain type of way about this because y'all debated Arturo Gatti being in the Hall of Fame and Mike Tyson of all people. But Joe Calzaghe just gets a pass. I mean, if we're basing it off his resume, I mean, his resume is trash. You know, we've established that in this video, and you can go look for yourself. The only thing I really give him credit for is Mikhail Kessler, and he was fucking Herman Munster with fucking boxing gloves on and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I give him credit. He was the first one to beat him, but that's about it, man. This guy's just not a Hall of Famer. He's just not.